Welcome back to my channel, my fellow motor enthusiast friends. This episode is all about rectification work. Rectification work on this, what looks like a very lovely LJ Torana here. And at first glance, it definitely is. Just take a look at that. You would think that that's a completed body job, body and paint all done, and it was completed at the shop that it came out of. However, it has missed the mark for my customer. Rather than him taking it back to that same shop to possibly deal with even further issues, he's brought it to me. I'm going to turn the camera around, I'm going to show you all these issues. Yeah, so like I said, at first glance, it actually looks really nice. And you know, in ways it does. However, when you get up close and you're looking along it, it is still quite ripply, and the paint seems to have shrunk back quite a bit. So it's got that pinchiness about it, and really needs to just be a lot more flatter and glassier, which was what the expectation was from the customer when he was promised that that's how it would be. Now, on top of that, there's also paint runs here and there. All right, so you can see this drip paint run just here. It's obviously built up in this channel and it's rolled down and it's finished itself about here. A nice little chunky run that we're going to have to block out. So on the boot lid, I don't know what's going on here, but we've got this little cluster of crazy cracking or something, blistering, pinholes all around it, big chunks of dust all through it. Yeah, just hit and miss really with the peel pattern. It's peely in some areas, flat in others. It just looks like it's been rushed, this job. We've got something in the paint here. So that's actually in the paint, this dark little spot there. And I mean, this is all over. You only have to wipe it over and have a look, and in every single little spot you find something. So there's just like another little dark spot, maybe like a little bit of splatter came out of the paint gun. Handprints in the bonnet, so where they've pushed the bonnet down prior to paint work. Again, don't know if we can pick it up in the camera, but there is this light sort of bubbliness going on here and here, which could very well be palm presses shutting the bonnet and then not properly cleaning the panel prior to paint. The two-tone, so where the black meets the orange, it hasn't been cleared together, and you've got this hard paint edge where he's just two-packed the black over the top. Now, that can cause chipping at a later date, and plus it just doesn't feel very good. You can really feel this hard edge, and no doubt down the track that's going to start chipping. So my job is to actually flatten that all down. I'm going to re-base coat the jet black, and I'm going to re-base coat the entire car in its colour, and then I'm going to clear coat it all together. So that way the clear coat uniforms over the top of those two tones, and you won't actually feel a definitive line there. We've got some delamination in here where this was actually a new panel provided, and it looks like it hasn't been prepped properly. We've got shiny standard new panel undercoat there, and the colour, as you can see, it's just flaking off. So I'm going to sand all that back and recoat inside there as well. You know, they're just where the joined here, they've just made this seamless. They've joined the front nose cone to the guards, and at first glance it looks good, but when you bob your head back and forth, you can see join lines there. And this is mainly due to shrinkage. So the colour is the clear coat has just been shrinking back over the last few weeks, and it's been progressively looking worse with every week that goes by. So I think it's really important to rub this down really flat. I'm not going to rub this down just with the palm of my hand and some wet and dry. I'm actually going to get a longboard and I'm going to block it flat again, because it is ripply as well, and I do feel I can get it to that next level of straightness. So my customer has put a tape line here because the body line on this left rear quarter panel pretty much fades away right there. It's faintly there, but it's rolled over way too much, and it's nowhere near as sharp as it is along there, and then it just kind of vanishes through here and then sort of starts back up again. So the one panel that we are repairing and shaping is this left rear quarter panel. Now, I am going to start with this repair. The reason being is I want to get this panel in primer after I've repaired it, and I want that primer curing for at least a week before we do any kind of paint work over the top. Part of what causes shrinkage is you paint 2-pack over primer far too soon than what you should. I like to give it at least a week, 2 weeks even better, but I'm going to do that first. So while that's all curing, I'm then rubbing and blocking down the rest of the vehicle. I'll spend probably a good week on getting this car ready for paint in the 2 tones, and the very last thing I'll do is then block my primer down and get that ready for paint. So by the time I'm done with this, I'm guaranteeing he's going to be super happy, and so will you if you keep watching and see just how much better I can get this Torana to look. So let's do it. I'm going to remove my tape now and see what we're left with. So you can see the shiny line is the actual pinnacle of the body line. And you can see that it is still shiny here and here because I haven't blocked on the body line. I'm blocking above it and below it because I am trying to keep that nice and proud to define it as much as possible. But I am no doubt going to have to put a little bit of a skim just through here. This is where it was shallow. This is where my customer pointed out that he, couldn't see that body line, and so certainly I couldn't either. So this is what we're going to be fixing right here. I'm going to go grab a spline, which is a really straight edge piece of composite material that I'll be able to put on there and drag it down and see just how much gap I've got here and how much I need to fill and where exactly I need to fill. I mean, the 2 high points give me a really good indication anyway, but I'd just like to see it through the eyes of using the spline. And I just want to put it there and drag it down over that area of body line, and I can see it open up. I can see the gap that's created from that body line fading away there, and I can see exactly where I need to concentrate my fillers. Really got to try and squash it to squash out those air pockets. Air pockets create pinholes. All right, she's a warm day today, so I've got to move quickly. I don't want my bog to go off on me. I'm just going to pop it up the top, right over like that. You can see that's filled it in beautifully. I'm going to give it one more go to try and get a bit more over that body line. So I'll go again, and again. All right, I'm going to do one coming up from this way. That's better. You can see it's filled in evenly from the top to the bottom. It's nicely feathered out. This is what the splines do. They just put it in so neat. Almost looks like it's a sanded job, but no, it's just a really good tool. Highly recommend the splines for filling and even for sanding. We can make our little tape handles on these and use them as our blocks as well. Don't want to take too much out. Feeling it is a really good idea. You can feel it's proud, you keep going, but if it feels like it's meant to, it's just consistent. I think I've done enough there. So now I'll take this tape line off and I'll run another one along the top and do the bottom. You always be careful not to buzz your bog. You know, you've got that straight now, so we don't want to actually change the consistency of that. We want to just leave that as it is. So I'm just feathering out around it. All right, so I've shaved down my 120 scratches with 400. So my primer's gonna sit over that really nice. I'm gonna put an extra coat or two on the actual Nicky itself. The bog acts like a sponge. It will absorb that primer, whereas where the 2-pack is, it won't absorb it as much. So got to put a couple more coats on this first, and then put an extra coat or two stepping it out past that. So that way, where it's absorbing is gonna have more to suck it in, and then in the end it'll be easy to block that, and it's going to be nice and level. All right, so that is now completed and ready for primer. As you sand the panel, you can start picking up all the little pinholes here and there. You can see one just there, and there's quite a few down here. So I've got to go around after I sand this entire car and fill every little pinhole, and there are quite a few. So that's a big reason why it's here for the rework, is to fix those pinholes, dust, runs, this body line. Yeah, it's a big rectification job, but yeah, definitely necessary. All right, and just so we know how much filler is in there, I'm going to use my coating thickness gauge to tell us. So I'll turn that on and stick it on the panel, right in the middle point. 927 at the top, 523 at the bottom, which is just under a millimetre of bog through there. It's always a good idea to try not to soak up the bog. Like I said, it does act as a sponge, and that includes when you wax and grease the panel. The Prepsol will soak into that bog, and it will just take a little bit longer to evaporate out of there. So I'd just rather not soak it up, just give it a light wipe over. This is called a back mask. The reason I back mask is I don't want a hard edge where my primer is going to come up to near the paper. It makes it more challenging to block out, and sometimes you can see those edges in the final paint finish. So a back mask allows the primer to just sort of go under there in a scattered form, just like a dry, dusty form. So when I block it, it'll block out really easy. You can run a hard edge of masking paper right on a hard body line. The reason being is if it's right on a body line, when I come to rub that out, it'll rub out really easy. It's just that extra friction there, it just really takes it out nice and easy. So you always got a back mask on flat surfaces, but you can hard edge on body lines. Just cut the plastic around and stick it down to your paper. Try and use a sharp razor blade if you can. This bloody thing wouldn't cut butter. All right, and that's how it should look before priming. We've got our back masked paper. You can run your finger under there. There's going to be no hard edge of primer. All right, now I'm just going to direct my first 2 coats on the patch of bog only. The reason being, like I said earlier, bog acts like a sponge, and I want it to really soak up the first 2 coats of primer before stepping out my next coat and coat again. All right, so that's going to take about 5 to 10 minutes or so to flash off, and then I'll do my next coat. It's on quite wet, not too wet that it's going to fall off, but what I can see already is just how pronounced that body line is now after doing that repair. You can check that out. You can see that body line beautifully, just the way you should. Now I know it's time to put another coat on when all the shine is gone, and it's gone what we call eggshell. Eggshell is because it looks like an eggshell, nice and dull. So that's 2 on the bog, and now my next coat is going to cover the entire rub through area. And now the entire rub through area is covered, I'm now going to extend my next coat a couple of inches even further outside of that. So with each coat, I'm allowing sufficient time for this primer to go eggshell. You want to allow it to evaporate first. You don't want to be spraying wet primer on wet primer. It'll all just melt in as if it's one coat. We want to make sure that this is layered. So about 5 minutes between coats, it's doing the job. Alright, now I've got enough in the gun for a 6th and final coat. I don't usually put 6 coats on, but I'd rather not waste the product. I'd rather get it on there. It's going to give me plenty of primer on there to block back and really get that body line nice and neat without rubbing through. And my last coat is the guide coat. Alright, so the back masking has worked as it should. If you lift that up, it's just all nice and speckly under there. There's no hard edge. I'll be able to just rub that out nice and easy on all sides. Peel away my wheel arch. You can see I do have a hard edge here, but that's going to be very easy to rub out because it's right on the pinnacle of that edge. And you can see just how much better that body line is now, all the way through there. All right, so I'm not going to touch that now for at least a week. I'm going to spend this week now just blocking down the entire car and getting all the paint surface prepped for a respray. And I'll address that quarter panel at the end of the week, allowing that primer as much cure time as possible. Okay, so to show you where we're up to with the Tozza, we've got it just about 80% rubbed down. Billy's been blocking it all. He's now just going around and getting all the little shiny bits, the leftovers. Nice work, Billy. And we just got the roof to do. We're going to do that last because we're going to get the doors off and we're going to plastic up all the windows and everything so we don't get any sludge on the inside. We're going to protect that nice blackened floor there. And I'm going to start shaving down these body lines where you can feel this edge here. And to do that, I'm just going to use a little bit of 400 wet and dry. Just gonna shave it down so you can't really feel that line as definitively as what it is. That way when I redo the black and the orange together and clear coat it together, it'll actually feel quite smooth. Just gonna get my block onto it. Probably just make shorter work of it and make it more consistent. Yeah, so there you go. You can see to actually get rid of it completely, I'm actually taking some of the line off. Now I can't feel that at all, so I'm going to have to basically redraw this whole line, but that's what I've got to do to make this right. So after giving this guard a good block, if you can see any little shiny bits, you know that they're your low areas, so where there was some rippling. So we just need to go a little bit further, just on those shiny sections, just to get it all consistently sanded. So I got the boys to pull the doors off. We are going to paint inside the doors and in the jambs as well. There's very little paint in there, it's very thin. We're also revealing some nasty runs right along the body line at the lower doors. Yeah, just in the door jambs, it's just very light. It's really dry and light coated, so we're gonna redo in there as well. We'll leave the guards on, we'll take the bonnet off. Boys are just getting the boot lid off, and we're gonna do inside the boot and bonnet apertures again. And yeah, what was just meant to be a closed door repeat is now turning into an inside out job. But like I said, it just needs to go to that next level and be done properly. That's what the customer wants. So that's what we're doing. All right, so it's just under a week later. We've got the car all blocked back, rubbed down, all the little paint corrections done. We found a few other little additional things, like a little bit of a hair crack going along here where these verticals were welded on both sides. So we've fixed them up. We've done that paint correction in here where there was delaminating paint. And as you can see, it's all nice and ready for paint now. These two-tone lines, we've smoothed them off so you can't feel them anymore, and they'll feel nice and smooth once we've cleared this whole job together. So now we're moving on to this repair work. I'm going to run my tape line now and give that a really good blocking and get that line just as perfect as I can make it. I've just brought the car outside so I can see the line far more clearly. Let's get it started. See if I can get the right angle to get right on it. It just seems to have this little bit of a bow in it. It's not perfectly straight along there, so got to be careful to make sure I follow that true line. If you can see me concentrating in one area for a longer period, it's because I found a little low section that I'm trying to work out. I have sanded the tape a little bit so it can be a little bit hard to get off, taking a bit of the tape off. All right, so we'll check that nice body line running through there. Still a little bit of a dip here, so I'll concentrate the bottom in this area a bit more, just trying to define it still, but it's making a massive improvement. All right, so I've run my tape line along the top, and you can see how the sand line just sort of comes under the tape line there, just only a few mil, but that just shows that the body line's just a little bit too shallow through here. So I'm hoping when I block this lower section, I'm going to be able to sort of just blend it all into that top line, and it'll look quite nice. I don't think I'm going to need to do any further filling. So you can see the high points, you've got high, and this is all low through here. So that's what I've got to work on, trying to get rid of this guide coat and have it all consistent straight across. Now, one thing I've got to be careful of, if I just keep running my straight block across the top, I'm actually going to put a groove in here where the lower part of my block is, and it's not going to flow in nicely into that wheel arch. So I've got a rounded block, so it's got this rounded fascia on it, and I'm going to, while I'm doing this, I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to start shaping in there as well, and just trying to keep this feeling all nice without any grooves that don't belong there. I'm just rolling my block into that channel, just following the contour of that wheel arch. At the same time, I'm still able to reduce this low point here. It's very close. Don't have far to go, and I think I'll have that all blocked out. Yeah, it's just about gone. I think my final wet block will take care of that now. All right, now for the moment of truth. I've got that all blocked. Pull my tape back and just see how neat this body line is. Well, one thing's for certain, I've got it true and straight. That tape line's really given me a great guide. Just where there's still a little bit of guide coat here and there is just where the body line is still that little bit rolled, but I'm gonna wet block it and I'm gonna make sure that the rest of it all matches nice and evenly through there. But one thing I've achieved is a definite, definitive body line, which was the goal. Now, before all blocking and sanding, it's important to guide wipe. And I've got a little bit of GMH black here, thinned down. Just gonna rub it all over my repair area. Get that right in through all the sanding scratches so I don't miss anything when I'm rubbing those out. All right, I've got my really nice body line there now, and I've got the panels straight. So I think what I'm gonna do now is I've drawn a tape line at the bottom, and I'm gonna 400 whizzer the top here with my soft interface pad. Last thing I want is my buzzer now to hit that body line and roll it over. So I'm protecting it with my tape. I'm gonna dry sand the top first with my 400 on the soft interface, then I'll tape the top and do the bottom. And that'll just keep that body line nice and true the whole time. All right, so that's 400 dry sanding complete. Let's wet this panel down and we'll have a really good look at that body line. Having the panel wet will allow us to see that body line far better. Just gonna see if we can capture that. Hopefully I can pick up on it. I can see it amazingly now. So there's a little bit of guide wipe still left right on the pinnacle of that body line, and that's because I don't want it too sharp. It's still got to match the other side. It's got a little bit of a rollover, but as you can see, it's nice and clear and present. All right, that was the last thing I had to do, so let's get it in the booth, mask it up and get painting. So don't go anywhere, because this is where the real magic happens. All right, we have a job ready to go in the booth. This is how it should look before it goes in the booth, fully masked up. And as you can see, I have masked up every single orifice on this car, right behind the gills there, right up in the plenum here, the scuttle panel. Every little area is masked, so that way no overspray is gonna get from when I'm doing my black onto the orange and vice versa when I'm doing my orange onto the black. I'm gonna tape that tape down to the floor. I'm gonna make sure that there's no draft going underneath. Now, some people like to use plastic to mask up. I use paper, and I'll tell you why. Plastic, it flails around with the pressure of your spray gun, and when you're spraying and all that dry spray sits on the plastic and it flails around like that, it's gonna kick that dry spray up and it's gonna land on your job, and your job won't look as good. So I find paper doesn't move as much, and it won't actually kick that dry spray up onto my job, so it's a great idea to use paper. All right, let's push it in the booth and get painting. How you turn the car when you don't have a steering column. Just got to shift the wheels. That's how it's done. All right. If I put any colour on this, I think it's pretty important to make sure that the two-tone lines are done correctly, and after all, this was one of the issues. This is why it's back. One of those issues where the two-tone lines were not correct, so called in the owner here, James. James wanted to see the lines that I've drawn just to give me the A-OK before I put any colour down. So, mate, moment of truth, we're going to go down to the front here where it was initially incorrect. Do I need to reposition? this.
This side's pretty good.
That side's okay, all right.
It was this side here. That's,
Okay.
I had to touch up the last time. If you've gone over that enamel, oh yeah, that's your fine line there.
That's
mate.
my fine line. Yeah, it's almost the colour of the car, so it's hard to see.
Yeah, that's pretty much spot on, mate.
But that's sort of where you did your little touch up, and I've just sort of run my fine line in that area. So I've tried to make it as nice and curved and consistent.
Yeah. Where the probably that's pretty good, mate.
I'm happy to change it if
the bumper will cover that anyway.
Okay.
Just as long as both sides pretty much symmetrical.
Yeah, I've tried to make them as even as I can on both sides.
Yeah, that's good. They were never perfect from the factory anyway. You know, it was like basically whoever was doing the blackouts on the day.
Yep.
You know, Fred will do it one day.
Yep.
And then Tom will do it the other.
Okay, but so we're going to go with that. Yeah. All right. I got the thumbs up. We're going with that, so that's good. Hope when I turn the camera off, he's not going to go, "That's shit." No, I think we're good. So, all right. Well, there's nothing else you want to show me before we get colour on this. I mean, that you want me to address a bit more.
I mean, there's one thing that he probably took on by himself, but on the originals, this black line comes up here.
Okay, so that's actually diagonally.
Diagonally there. But when the wing went on,
right,
you know, he was carrying on saying that he'd like to black that out, but the wing actually overlaps this part of the guard.
Okay.
So if you can,
I can, yes.
Yeah, come up on a diagonal there.
Sure.
That's how they were from original. They didn't come up straight like that.
Yeah, well, let's do it. I'll just make sure you can't feel any of that, and so I'll just smoothen all that down, and I'll do that for sure, mate. We'll make them look the same both sides.
Yeah, that's not a big deal. Rubbers will cover that.
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah, it's just that diagonal, and it kind of looks a bit more uniform to the corner of the car.
Sure. Okay, so that's one other thing I will do. Anything else you can think of?
Looks beautiful.
Yeah, we've got a few little rub that run out there. There's some pinholes that have been filled. We've got. They're only tiny, but it's just those little things that make a difference.
Yeah.
And that crazy cracking on the sill here, there was a lot of this, that frying up. Did you remember seeing that?
Yeah.
Big fry up section there, so that's all smoothed off. All right, I think we're pretty much good to go. The little cracks on the front here, we've just filled them. The delamination here, smoothened all that off. So, all right, let's rock and roll. And that was the last thing I needed to cover. I just wanted to stop the dry spray from getting on my orange. So it's a lot of masking work for quite a very little amount of painting, but very much necessary. Yeah, so this is how much masking is required just to do a two-tone. And then I've got to pull all that off and then mask up the black base coat. I've then got to mask that up to do the orange. So there's just like almost a full day's worth of work just in masking and prepping a two-tone. Before I put down any black, I've got to go and just in my gullies, just keep pushing down that fine line tape. It just tends to want to pull away in the gullies. So my 45 running here now, as James requested, on both sides. So that'll look factory. Alright, so that's the black down. Now it's time to unmask it and mask up the black to do the main body colour. You kind of got to do this gently as to not pull away main masking. I only want to pull away the masking that was set for the two-tone. Don't want to create more work for myself. Okay, all unmasked. Let's get a closer look at that. So I've redrawn those lines. I've got a little bit of black up in here, but that's okay because when I mask off the black, I'll paint orange on that. But I've moved the line from this edge here right up into that gully, just where the kick plate sits over. So you don't see any orange when you look through the door gaps. So the request of James. Nice line there. This line still looks wobbly, but that's because that's the old line and I've redefined the line right on where the lugs go, right through the middle of the holes. A shape in that corner. There's that 45, so this will all be orange. Just be a nice fine cut 45 line there. I'm going to let that dry for a little while. My biggest challenge is going to be masking on my base coat black, and when I peel the tape off to clear coat, trying to make sure that none of that base coat comes off on my tape. That does scare me a little bit. Anyone doing these sort of jobs would say the same thing, delamination, but I have sanded the panels and the surfaces very well, and I've got a decent amount of base coat there, so I'm hoping that I'll use a fine tack tape, and when I peel that off my black base coat, hopefully none comes with it. But if it does, I'll just have to do little touch-ups as I go before clear coating. Alright, so I didn't want to bore you with another whole mask up period, so here it is all masked up, ready for the main body colour. I've just mixed it up, we'll go and have a look. Fire Glow, code Y, 1978. But for the top coat, we over here have an incredibly wonderful product. We have a Glazeret HS clear coat. Now, anyone that knows that will know that that is the clear of all clears. With a regular hardener and reducer, I'm going to get the most glassy mirror finish that I could ever possibly get. This is the sort of paint that would even make a novice painter look really good. So if you're prepared to spend the money, this clear kit, so a 5 litre kit, clear hardener and a litre of reducer, costs over $1,050. So yeah, not cheap, but for the result, I think it's going to be very well worth it. right, now this is the moment that worries me the most. Pulling the tape off the base coat, and it looks like it's coming off without an issue. You can see there's no black base coat on my tape, so that's very good news. All right, if I haven't got delamination by now, pretty confident I can unmask this whole vehicle and it'll all be a success. So yay. Well, I spoke too soon. Right at the very end of pulling my masking off, just down at the driver's side kick plate, as you can see there, I've pulled away black base coat. That's a shame. It's going to give me an extra sort of half an hour of touching that up before I can clear coat it now, so it's all good. I can fix it. All right, so to start with, I've redone my fine line, my tape line. I have then feathered out all the flaking black, so that's nice and feathered out. And I've got a little bit of paint. And I'm going to pour a little bit of jet black just into the PPS pot connection tip. So no PPS pot at all, just a little bit of black in there. And with really light pressure on a jet, I'm just going to fan in the black on that and until that's fully covered. So just really low pressure, just building up the paint. Just sprinkling it on there. I don't want any overspray going onto the job because I haven't masked up the whole car. I've just done one sheet of paper. So just trying to keep it within that little area. It's covering really easy. A couple more coats and I'll be done. And I think one more coat. And there we go. Now let's just hope when I peel this off, I don't take off any of the orange. Wouldn't that be a laugh? Yay, success. Touch up complete. Now she's ready to clear coat. So this is what happens when tape lifts away in the gullies. It's got a little bit of orange there, got onto the black. Just a bit of dry spray, it's lifted up. To fix that, I'm not going to bother spraying that in. It's so minor. I'm just going to grab a little bit of the jet black touch up here. Don't want to put too much on, so just get most of it off. And I'm literally just going to brush that in. Just like that. And voila. Okay, so here we have our clear kit. It's a 923-530 HS clear with a standard reducer and a standard hardener. This is among the top European clear coat you're ever going to get. So whether you're a backyard bandit or a professional, this clear will take you to the next level. You will pay twice as much for it, but I promise you, you'll get twice the result. And I'm going to prove it to you right now. And here's the proof. 3 coats of clear later and an incredible glassy finish. Yeah, just take a look at that. An absolute mirror. You can see that body line just so clearly now that we worked on. Those fine lines, that clear uniformed over those lines. You won't be able to feel those anymore. Just like glass. It's still flowing out, this paint. I've only laid the colour down about 20 minutes ago. So there's a lot more flowing out to go and it's already very, very glassy. So I think as it flows out through the day, and I come back tomorrow, it's only going to improve. All right, now I've just followed the same process that I did on the body on the parts, and got no feeling of this fine line edge anymore. It just feels nice and smooth. Just a few parts there, and get an idea of how good this Glazeret clear lays down. Just check that out. That is just magic. Just like a mirror, glassy, no boil whatsoever. There's 3 heavy coats on there. Same with the bonnet. It's just flowed out beautifully. Look at that. The doors hanging up the way they would be on the vehicle. No runs. This clear really likes to hold too, which is what I really love about it. I've really flogged it on, and no runs. Usually if you're going to get a run, you'll get a drip somewhere in there or on a body line, but it's just spot on. All right, now I'm going to give that another day or so to dry before fitting these panels back onto the vehicle. I'll have a look and see if there's any bits of dust that might need a denib. I think there is 1 or 2 on the bonnet. I've got one there that I will have to denib out. Maybe just one on the bonnet. I don't think I got any on the boot lid at all. So it really is just about an off the gun finish. It's finished. Oh, check this out. Well, it's been a huge last couple of weeks. I've spent so many hours on this restoration rectification, but it has come up a treat. And I'm sure you can tell by the smile on my face, I'm super happy with how this has come out. I've got to tell you, I think this is in my top 10 best resprays of all time. And I do owe a lot of that to a really high quality product. The Glazeret Clear Coat really does help. I just can't believe the clarity of this. I mean, I'm going to take the camera around it, and I don't even think I'm going to need to say anything. We're just going to let the camera do all the talking, because this is just absolutely beautiful. All right, I can't help but say something, but just, I mean, look at the glass finish on that. You can see myself through that like a mirror. I've got that body line running through there now. You can actually see it nice and clearly, the way it should be. You can't feel any of the, the two-tone lines here. The clear coat's just uniformed over that beautifully. And all the little paint defects fixed up. Every pinhole, every run, every little sink back and shrinkage. It's just now exactly where the car should be, and what I believe James wished for in the first place. All right, so now that you've seen the car, it's now time to show the owner. James is going to be here real soon, and together we're going to see what he thinks of it. Cross my fingers, but I'm pretty confident he's going to love it. All right, he's just arrived. He's coming up the driveway. Let's see what he thinks of it. James, my friend. Hey mate, how are you?
Yeah, good mate, good.
So, have a bit of a glance around it.
Yeah, more of it in the sun this time.
Yeah, more sun on it, so
Yeah,
just
beautiful.
a whole different aspect in the sun, eh?
Yeah.
Looks great. So, has it met your expectations at this point, James? Is the paint job where you're happy with?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, going with that glazier, clear coat.
Definitely, mate.
Absolutely
Definitely.
night and day.
Yeah. I said you could be just a novice painter, but use a really top clear coat like that, and you're going to get something half decent. But when you got good experience and you're using good clear, it looks like that. And it's just magic.
Yeah, it's unreal. Shaving that.
Yeah. So the colour is it's a Ford colour.
Yeah,
actually.
it's a fire glow orange.
Fire glow orange. I didn't know this. Earlier in the video, I didn't let people know that because I didn't know. Why did you choose a Ford colour, fire glow?
Well, I didn't know to start with. It was just the guy that painted had the first go at it.
Yep.
He just had a Ford wagon in the shed.
Yeah.
And he just happened to have the colour on hand, and it pretty much I had a sample myself, and it was that close to the. It's like Sebring orange, which is an old Chevrolet colour, which Holden painted the LCs in.
So it's close to the LC orange.
Yeah.
Is it a bit more vibrant, or?
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, this is an orange that's out there, and I've done a little bit of looking around at LJs that are out there at the moment. There's not many orange ones.
No.
There's a lot of different ones,
You
blues
got the Lona Ranger, which is a more yellowy orange, and I wanted the Salamanca red and the LJ, but I've always loved orange and black. I'm a KTM man, as well.
Yeah.
Just the orange and black just pops, and
It does,
the
doesn't it?
It's a little car, but you've got to have big colour in these cars.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel about it as well. And it's certainly met all the expectations, eh?
Yeah, thanks, mate. Well, I couldn't agree more. And what are your plans for the running gear? Are you going to put the running gear that these came out in, or are you going to do something different? Or?
Yeah, I am. It's I went back and forth a lot. Considering the RB30 route and that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, I fell in love with these when I was 15 years old, and the reason why I fell in love with them was, went for a drive in one of the triple SUs and all the nostalgic side of things, and decided to kind of go with me heart. And that's where I'll go back to the car's roots and stay true to the nostalgia sort of things,
100%.
And at the end of the day, it's not a drag car. It's just a tough little street car.
Street car, yeah.
1,000 kilos worth of car with a hot 202 in it.
Yeah.
Goes good, but it's going to have a Super 5-speed.
Yep.
True track rear end. The motor I've got planned for it, so it's pretty modified. So
Right. Okay.
the nice little package.
Yeah, I think so, mate. Can't wait for you to have it all going and on the road, and maybe you could let us know, and I'll come and have a look, or you can bring it around
for sure, mate.
Yeah, a bit of a show. I'd love to see it when it's all ready to go and show. I'm sure you like to attend meets and things like that as well. So will this one be one that you'll? I know you've got a couple of cars. You've got some nice cars.
Yeah.
You've got a HG wagon. You've got a HK sedan.
HG sedan.
HG sedan, HG wagon, Prem wagon. Yeah, you got a little collection going. So will you be taking this one to the shows once it's done, more so than the others?
Sure. Yeah. This will be a fun car.
Yeah, all right.
It's I used to be into sports bikes, and now it's you lose your license too quickly on them things. So
you certainly do, mate.
This is my sports bike.
And your life on your bikes too.
Exactly,
So what duration do you think before you can expect to think that this will be ready to go?
Probably give it another 12 months to 2 years.
Yeah, you got to be realistic when building a car. It's not something that just happens overnight.
Yeah, that's right. And for you guys who are looking at doing this, there are a lot of guys out there who, if you buy cheap, you buy twice. Really pay the money, do it right the first time, especially when it comes to a paint and body, because you can get caught out. I did.
Yep.
And it's pays to do it once and do it right.
Yeah, definitely. So, well, look, I'm really glad that it's turned out this way and that you're happy with it. It is where it was meant to be, I think, in the first place now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Yeah, well, look, keep your eye out for this one maybe in a year or two at the shows. I mean, you're not going to see many around like it, so if you remember it, come up and say good day to James and, yeah, let him know that you saw the video as well.
Yeah.
Well, mate, thanks for being a great customer. I really appreciate it. I'm sure you've got a tow truck on its way.
Yeah, he's coming.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. All right, well, we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was a complete success. I know James liked it. If you've watched up until now, I know you liked it, so better hit that like button as well. And while you're subscribing and maybe watching a couple of my other videos, I'm going to go and have a shave. It's been a couple of weeks. I've just been working around the clock on that Torana, so I'm going to go do that, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.